Hi y'all, Sat Sri Akal. This is Taq from BIPOC Executive Search getting at you today for the Wellness and Work podcast. A podcast where I share stories and tips to keep you healthy, happy, and motivated for your day job. Hi y'all, this is Taq from BIPOC Executive Search getting at you today for the Wellness and Work podcast where I share stories and tips to keep you healthy, happy, and motivated for your day job. Today's topic is 3 practices to heal trauma, be happy, and make more money. This topic is definitely near and dear to my heart because I can share that I grew up in a fairly violent home. There's quite a bit of violence between my parents, quite a bit of violence within my immediate family, and it was just, not a great vibe. And at the same time, my parents definitely experienced their fair share of violence growing up. My parents and ancestors are from the Punjab region of India and Pakistan. And that region, for thousands of years have undergone various flows of colonialism, but most recently was under the colonial rule of the British Raj, the Crown, and then the British government up until 1947. So for 200 years, the British ruled South Asia, and after the Indian independence and the Pakistan independence movement succeeded in 1947. At that time, it was all India. There weren't these different countries that we know about in South Asia. The British Raj fell and borders were drawn to create these new nations. So Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. And where my parents are from, Punjab, is a state that was divided into these various countries. So part of it was Pakistan, part of it was in India, part of it was in Afghanistan, and millions and millions and millions of people were displaced from their homes during that time, as well as killed and experienced violence. So for instance, on my maternal side, prior to partition in 47, my mom's family lived on the Pakistan side of the border, and when the Raj fell and that border was drawn, they had, maybe a week or two to drop everything, leave all their possessions, and just flee to the India side of the border. So not only did I experience violence in my childhood, but I definitely hold intergenerational trauma due to the impact that colonialism has had in my own life and lineage. Knowing, of course, that I'm a settler on these lands within Canada and the impact that colonialism has had on Indigenous communities here as well. So knowing that, we all hold quite a bit of trauma through our own lineages, through our own experiences in childhood and adolescence and adulthood. And because of that childhood experience, I grew up with a single mom. So eventually, thank God, my parents separated, and I moved in with my mom when I was in grade 5, I think. I was 10 years old, and we lived on welfare. So we lived in people's basements, apartments. We got, welfare food dropped off. My mom worked, several jobs at minimum wage just to make ends meet. And I definitely grew up with this narrative of poverty, that we were poor, that we never had enough money. Money was a very scary topic in terms of, my parents fighting about child support, me and my sisters having to be the go-between between them because they didn't have great lines of communication, of course. Asking my mom for money to go on school field trips and things like that was always scary. I often got yelled at or told that we didn't have it. So I definitely absorbed this idea that I am poor. And it took me quite a bit of time and energy, and I continue to do this healing work of, changing that narrative. So when it comes to healing trauma, being happy and making more money, we really have to be aware of where we came from, acknowledging the past, but not living in the past, not letting the past, haunt our present day and our future. So when it comes to 3 practices that I like to use, because now living my best life, y'all. I have an amazing job, amazing partner and relationship that's so healthy. I have an amazing apartment that's just gorgeous. We have lots of plants. We have an amazing dog. I have really fulfilling hobbies, very fulfilled in my own business that I run, have amazing friendships that are really positive and uplifting, and continue to work with various coaches on different aspects of my life in terms of healing and growing as a person. So absolutely, I feel like an example of somebody who grew up in, not the best circumstances, but was able to make the most out of life and really live my life in a good way, in a way that is alignment with my values and in alignment with my own ideas of what a loving, healthy home can look like. So it's absolutely, absolutely possible to, change how we are, to change our mindset, to move from scarcity and poverty-based mindsets to one of abundance in all areas of our life, not just when it comes to money, but when it comes to our, worthiness of feeling loved and having sustaining friendships and loving romantic relationships, to, our life's purpose and passion, to our health and well-being as well. So I love to share 3 practices that I use. So the first tip I have to share is to test out a spiritual practice that works for you. So this is going to look different for everybody. I have tried so many different modalities of healing, of spiritual practice, of getting to that root soul wound cause of healing our trauma. For instance, right now I use a practice called the emotion code, which I absolutely love. I use tarot as well, pulling tarot cards. I do energy healing, so I go to see an energy healer. I've tried traditional talk therapy. I've tried somatic therapy. I have, tried journaling and meditation and visualization. And I've taken bits and pieces here and there, things that really work for me. And because I've tried these all out, I now have a spiritual practice and a healing practice that really, really works with my lifestyle, with my view and approach to the world. So it's all going to look different to you. And I recommend trying out a bunch of different things. A lot of them you can do for free and see what works for you, what resonates with you, what gives you, the most form of healing. So that would be number 1, is really just to find something that works for you. If talk therapy isn't it, maybe it's, finding some kind of movement practice that allows you to move that energy out of your body, or talking to a close friend that is open and ready to receive some of the things that you'd like to share out loud. So that would be number 1. Number 2 is gratitude lists. So gratitude, saying thank you for what we have, is the best way to open our heart and to receive more of what we're grateful for. So in terms of making more money, for instance, I love to, say thank you anytime I'm paying for something to money. So thanks money, come back with all your friends. I learned that from one of my teachers, Ken Honda. I love to say thank you anytime money comes to me. So anytime I get my paycheck or open my bank account statements and do my weekly tracking of money and income, always like to say thank you. In the mornings when I shower, I say out loud 10 new things that I'm grateful for from the day before. It can be as simple as, thank you for coffee and coffee time that, shows up quite often. Thank you to the fact that I have access to hot water. to having an amazing team that I get to work with every day. So coming up with things that we feel thankful for is going to put us in the vibration and frequency of joy and happiness and attract more of that to us. So what we appreciate appreciates, is how the saying goes. And then number 3 is to print out a blank check and write your ideal salary on it. So whether that's $79,000 a year, whether that's $250,000 a year, whether that's $30,000 a year, whatever it is that's your ideal salary, print out a check. You can look up the Law of Attraction check or Universal Bank of Abundance check, and all these blank check templates will come up. I recommend printing it out and writing yourself that check and pasting it somewhere that you're going to see it every day. So whether that's on your workplace, workspace, in your bathroom, on your bathroom mirror, so that your mind and brain gets used to seeing the number over and over and over again. And when it starts to develop the neural patterns or the brain patterns in seeing that number, it will attract it to us, especially if we're doing those other pieces of gratitude, as well as doing healing work so that we can heal any traumas and money blocks that are preventing us from receiving. And I kid you not, y'all, it works every single time I've done it. You can start small. You can start by writing yourself a $20 check. Once you receive that $20, move on to $200, then move on to $2,000, then move on to $20,000, $200,000, $2 million. If you are new to this practice, writing yourself a $2 million check, you can absolutely do it, but it might take, a few years to be able to get to that point. Whereas if you start small, you sort of build up those small wins and your manifestation muscles to make more money. So for instance, I can give you an example that I had written a check, and I recommend doing it for, typically our bank accounts aren't like exactly $10,000. There's some combination of random numbers in some ways. So for instance, I had written a check for $106,253 and pasted it on my workplace, just under my laptop. And I would say within 8 weeks, our firm received a client that paid, y'all, not even joking, $106,250 as their fee. So it was pretty close to the exact amount of money that I had written down on that check, which is amazing because even though it, didn't directly go into my bank account, it came into our firm, which pays me my salary. So that's an example of how we can manifest these big numbers, starting small and then working our way up. And I guarantee, you'll be manifesting like it's nobody's business or like it's your business. So just to recap, 3 practices to heal trauma, be happy, and make more money. The first one is really about that healing trauma piece. So finding a spiritual practice or a healing practice that works for you, testing out a lot of different kinds to find one that really resonates. Sometimes it takes, 3 or 4 or 5 attempts at a practice to be able to say, okay, this feels good, this is the right one, or this is the right therapist even for me. Number 2 is all about that happiness of gratitude. So where we put our energy in terms of gratitude, we're going to get more and more of that back. So, if we're constantly thanking money for being so awesome, I'm so grateful to money because she helps me live such a luxurious life, we're going to get more of the same. Similarly, if we're like, I'm so thank you that I have such amazing relationships and such good friendships, such loving relationships, we'll get more of the same. I'm so grateful that I love my body, that it's fit, that it's healthy, that I'm happy. We will get more of the same. So you're really, really focusing on gratitude and ways of acknowledging the things we're thankful for every single day. And then number 3, when it comes to making more money, is to support our brain to open its mind to receiving those amounts, to seeing those amounts of money. So printing out those blank checks, starting small and working your way up to larger and larger amounts until you're able to manifest the numbers that you'd like. And just being mindful that, it does take time because, of the healing that some of us need to do. For some people, it might happen faster. Some people, it might be a little bit of a slower process, but know that it will happen if you stay consistent. So that's it for today. Sending you all so much love. Talk to you soon. Bye.